welcome. We are live. Hopefully audio is working. I am late. I'm also listening to music again. So that, oh, it does show on that camera. Weird. I thought, anyway, weird. Anyway, tonight we are working in colored pencil and pen pastel to draw this adorable little goldfish. I am definitely not prepared. I am missing stuff. I promise. I was super running late. I'm trying to fix, you guys know if you've bid on the auction, so this guy is available for those in the US to bid on my website, but for some reason, my website likes to not let people log in. That's not inconvenient at all during an auction. So I'm trying to fix it for one person. Joey, if you are watching right now, email me. So I'm waiting to hear back if that worked for somebody or not. We've been working on this for like an hour trying to get this going. So I did not realize my website actually has two different areas of, okay, audio is good. Two different areas of where users are signed in. And I've been resetting, for those of you who are like, it doesn't work. And I'm like, let me try resetting the password. I think I've been resetting the wrong one. I didn't even know there were two separate ones. I think there's one for WooCommerce and there's one for my site itself. So I'm really hoping if this fixes it, oh my gosh, I'll be able to reset passwords for people. So I'm just waiting to see if Joey is able to get in. Anyway, let's go ahead and see if I can manage to focus. I know I'm forgetting some major stuff right now. Anyway, let's go ahead and start. So tonight I am working on Inktense and MeWe. I've got a gray paper and that is weirdly accurate in the lighting. That is unusual. Maybe it'll be a good night. Maybe the passwords will reset and maybe the color being accurate is like a sign that my website is going to, well, that I figured out how to use it basically. Okay, so my pan pastels. I have a set of, what is this, 20? And it's in this handy little container there. Pan pastels are pretty cool because they mix just like paint. You can mix new colors. So I've never felt the need, I do need to order another white one because I am going through that pretty quickly. But I've never felt the need to get more colors than this. So, whoops, let's see, my cameras are not, I didn't even set my cameras. Everything is a mess right now. The supplies that I'm using are in the video description. Hi, Eddie. Hi, everybody, actually. So if you have any questions during the live stream, you can go ahead and leave those now, and I will be answering those at the end of the stream. And let's see, I'm going to be using my soft tools to fill in the background here. And he's got like a dark tealish black and then that pink color. So I want to do something kind of similar. I really liked the background on this. Everything about this photo I just liked. So this photo comes from Unsplash. If you want to paint along with me, the link for it is in the video description. It's over on my Patreon, but you don't have to be a member. It's everybody can download that. Oh, and we've got two. We are starting the night off from two. So we're going to do this in two separate ones. Let's see, Jason said, Lisa, I thought that focus was not one of your strengths. Yeah, my focus is about as good as my math skills. You are not wrong, Jason. Okay, so we've got our first super chat, which gives, this is really good timing because hopefully I can now get my adrenaline to calm down because I was running so late. You start zipping around and then your adrenaline, well, my adrenaline gets going and it's a whole thing. But we've got, are you guys even paying attention? They're like, no, we're bored. We've got our first, Kristen said, can't stay, but wanted to treat the puppies. Do you boys want a super chat from Kristen? I think that's a yes. Okay. There's your first one, but you're gonna have to lay down and we're gonna do a second one in just a second, but you're gonna lay down first. Lay down. You have to be good boys. Oh my gosh, the cow's being the good one. Bad cow, you're not living up. Look at him put his head down. What a good cow. Did you just scare yourself? Did you touch a pot? Yeah, lay down. I know you got scared. I heard that. You touched a pot. Lay down. The pot's not going to get you. Lay down. I've got plant pots all over back behind the bed there. And now that he's down, we'll go ahead and do this. He's going to be so happy right now. We've got the second one. Karen said, just to start the night off right. You boys want a second super chat? Gibson's like, really? I don't think he always believes me when I do two in a row like that. But I found if I give it to him at the same time, that's good boys. If I give it to him at the same time, like when they're all up at once, he'll stand there and stare at me like, well, you gave me two last time. Don't I get two now? Nope. Now we lay down. Lay down. Lay down. This is really good training practice too. you know, sight hounds can be a bit of a challenge on getting them to do as they're told. So, yeah, no, that's always fun. Let's see. What's in the tank? That is my bearded dragon. That is Dragon because, you know, super creative name there. I thought Dragon was a girl, and so I had named her Blanche, and then a dragon ended up being a boy, and we just kept saying hi Dragon, and like, because he's a dragon, and it just stuck. So that is how I ended up with the most uncreative name in all of the names. So I would have named him like Bob or some kind of ridiculous human, like the most basic human name you can think of is what I would have named him. But yeah, and my husband won't let me change the name now because it just stuck. Okay. Yes, Gibson has a belly band. I could have taken it off during the live stream because somebody has decided that he's not going to let me know when he needs to go outside to potty. He'll just go in the house. Yeah, it's been fun. Like if I let him, and it wasn't his fault, he should have been let out. My husband thought I let him out. I thought he let him out, and he didn't get let out. So it's not even Gibson's fault, but he's also just gotten in a really bad habit of not telling us when he wants to go out, where Wade does. So anyway, that is why he's wearing that. So let's see. So getting started, I'm going to start with the background on this, and I'm going to mix just a teal color, and I'm going to use a soft tool. This is one that I used before. It has that tealish color. It's pretty much what I'm mixing now, so I can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use phthalo blue and phthalo green together to get a teal color, but I'm also going to mix some black in there because I want this kind of grungy dark color. And we're just going to put that in there. Now, I do want to show you too, this guy, I'm waiting for that email from Joey here to see if that fixed the website. So I'm going to keep checking. I know it's rude to keep messing with my phone while I'm live streaming, but it's for the live stream. We're trying to solve, we're problem solving. But anyway, this will come in an 8x10, an overall 8x10 frame. The inside artwork is a 5x7. So what I've done, you can see I'm working like the edge of the frame or the mat goes to here. So I've got to make sure I'm filling in more than the mat is going to cover, but that way I don't have like little edges where the mat doesn't quite cover. So I always go a little bit bigger than what I know I'm going to mat this as. Oh, and let's turn this on so I can hopefully get notifications for if anyone, volume and Discord. Make sure I don't have anything I'm missing in Discord right now. Servers. And if you are on our Patreon, make sure that you are signed up. Well, not make sure, I mean, it's just fun. You don't have to if you don't want to, but we have our own Discord for Patreon. So if you want to share your artwork as you're working on, we've got sketchbook challenge. We've got all kinds of fun stuff going on over there. So that is a fun thing to sign up for. My paper is, what did I cut this at? My overall artwork is going to be a 5x7, but I cut my paper to about 6.5 by 8-ish. So it's a little bit bigger. And that gives me room to tape it off. And this is a pH neutral acid-free tape. Oh, I'm liking this color a lot. That is pretty. And I'm just going to fill that in. And I'll come back through and get some darker blotches in there too, because I don't want it too solid one color. Same thing, I'm mixing my, oops, let's pull this back so you can see a bit better. Phthalo blue and phthalo green. A little bit of black. Got a lot of black on that one. There we go. Let's see, we've got some more of that color down here. I'll reload that soft tool. The thing I like with these colors, the gold in the Goldfish or the orange colors are going to look so pretty against this. And then I'm going to just take some black and go right on top of parts of this to darken it up and let it blend into some of that teal. So get some variation in there. same thing over here, just getting some variation. And then I'm lightly going over it. I'm not pushing super hard. I'm just kind of lightly shading to let that blend into my teal colors. Okay. Let's see, email, is it? Okay, let's see what Joey says. She was watching but hasn't been able to log in yet. Still trying. Dang it. I'm thinking try with the other email, because I know we had problems before. Try with the other email, just making a new account if you can, or make another, like a Gmail account. Just make a fake one, and because you're not paying, you don't have to pay with the account that you paid through. Worst case scenario, you win the bid, and if it's like being weird about your PayPal or your Stripe isn't connected to that email, I'll just send you a separate, like whoever wins, I'll just email you the right, because I know what's going on. I just email you the bill or whatever. So see if setting up a different, and I don't know if it's going to go by IP address or not. This is helping me test things out, because I'm going to have to contact, I don't even know who to contact to figure out why my website is having so many emotional issues right now. Okay, let's grab another soft tool. This one will work. Now, I don't like the flat ones. You can see this one is a little bit more of a rounded one as well. I don't like the flat ones too much because they leave harsh start and stop points. So let me change this out. Oh, I don't have many of these ones left. Actually, was the back of that clean? Not really. And we've got from Oriole Beagle said, I love the goldfish. Thank you so much. And actually, Gibson heard. Do you want a super chat? Here, Gibson, we can take your pants off too. You don't need to wear, oh, naked puppy. Come here, come closer. I don't have a treat in my hand. Gibson, come here. You're being a pain. There, you don't need to wear your pants right now. I don't think I have to worry about you pottying out of sight right now. I just forgot to take them off earlier. Okay. Say thank you, Oriole Beagle. One for you, one for you. Good boys. Wade, I think, is being a liar because he is extra gentle taking his treats during live streams, and I'm not sure why. What? You're just making a liar out of me when I say you chomp my hand, huh? That's it. Go lay down. Lay down. Lay down. I know a paper hit the floor. Let me grab that. Lay down, Gibson. Cow, lay down. All the way. Wade, lay down. What is with you? You were the good cow last time. Wade. He's like, fine. He sighs. What a brat. He's like, if I have to. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take that soft tool and slip this on there. Now, these are one of those things, those soft tool covers. You can reuse them kind of. Like, I mean, these colors were similar enough, so I did it. And I can also use the other side of this, which is clean. But I do recommend get a bunch of, like, get a good size pack of it. Because when you need one and it's dirty, like, let's say you are the type who wants to wash yours off and hope it doesn't rip. Even then, you've got to wait for it to dry. Like, it just have a bunch of these ready to go. Okay, next is we need a rose type color. So I'm going to mix, to get that, I'm going to use, which is this one, my burnt sienna with, I believe this is magenta. What are they calling these ones? Yeah, magenta and burnt sienna. I'm going to mix those two. And maybe a little bit of gray so it's not too high I'm here. Yeah, that color worked really well to get a nice soft pink. I don't want it to be too like, hi, I'm pink. I just want that hint in there. And I'm going to tone it down too. I'm not going to leave it that light. Oh, I love how it looks when it mushes in with the teal. Look how pretty that is. Wow, the color is so accurate tonight. This is weird. If you've watched many of my live streams, you know the accuracy of my cameras are, well, it gives me the finger a lot. It's not a healthy relationship. But tonight it is behaving. It's kind of weird. It likes these colors. That makes me super happy. Now if we can just get my website to work. See, look how nice and soft that is. I just want to get this really soft transition between these. Let them kind of mush a little bit. But here's the thing. Don't overblend it. As good as this looks, if I keep sitting and reworking and reworking and reworking the same area, I'm going to end up with just kind of one solid muddy mess. So I want to leave the variation there. I also do want to make sure I get that background going all the way up to the fish. Like, see right here, the tail, there's like a little corner. Fill that in. Don't leave that showing. Don't leave an outer glow around the fish. I would rather this color mix into the fish a little bit than not quite go all the way through. Now I'm going to take this and pull it into the fin because the ends of the fins especially are a bit translucent. So I want some of that background color showing through. Even though we'll be putting white in there, I need some of this. And then I'm going to white, oh, I didn't grab paper towels. So there's the first thing I wasn't prepared. Well, I guess I could just use these. Viva paper towels are better, but for pan pastels, it cleans it off better, but that'll work. What was I just going to do? Oh, here. I want to get some of that pink to pull in. Just into that fin where it's going to be a bit translucent. Just anywhere where I want a little of that background showing through the fins. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to use white now, which I really need to remember to replace. And I'm going to start putting that over the ends of the tail. Now I'm going to let this be a bit streaky. I'll define the streaks better when I go over with colored pencil, but for now I'm just going to work, I'm kind of using the tip right there. I'm just going to work that so that I can see some of those lines. So I'm already starting to get some of the detail in there. You see how this blends in with the teal? Good. We want some of that pulling into the subject. And keeping it pretty streaky. And Joey, if you're listening right now, let me know if the second email account worked. I'm invested in getting you set up for tonight. I do not understand what is wrong with my website. And it's weird because it doesn't do it to everybody. Like some people can bid every time, no problem. Some people, I don't understand. Okay, stop complaining, Lisa, and draw. So here we've got this fin. And right now everything's going to look a little bit out of focus, a bit soft. Now you can leave it that way if you like it to be super soft. That works too. It gives it kind of this it turns out I know how to read that word, but I can't say it. That's how you know someone reads a lot. When I know the words, but I can't pronounce them. Whatever, it's fancy. I hate when I go to say a word I'm certain I know because I read it all the time and then my brain's like, no, you don't know how to say that. Like quadonkadonk magenta or quadonkadonk red. Same thing, making sure the streaks go the direction I want that fin to go. Now I'm going to do the orange before I do the black, because if I do the black right now, this brush I can't keep using for, like if I did black, it will mush in with the orange. So I'm going to wipe off the white as much as I can, really. At this point, there's a lot of the red in there. Jason foot and mouth. No, you hit certain words, you just can't say them, or at least in my case. So I'm going to grab some orange and I'm going to fill this in. I mean, I guess if I realized I didn't know how to pronounce the word, I wouldn't have made the attempt. Arethe. I almost said a swear word because I got frustrated. I couldn't say it. Like, it's just so weird. It's such a common word I hear or read in books, and then my brain's like, no, that word is not for you. Good job on pretending you had a good vocabulary. Now you can do this all with colored pencil and without the pan pastels, but if you've worked with colored pencil very long, you know how much longer that will take. This also just gives a really pretty soft look to it. Not that, again, you can get a soft look with colored pencil, but it takes a lot more work. I'm going to put some white in the face too. I missed a couple spots. I'm going to take a bit of a darker red. Actually, I'm going to mix my red and my red oxide, whatever they call it in this. So I get some variation. That way I don't have just one solid color. So here's the thing. Whenever you're working on something, it's easy to look at that and go, what? Oh, it's orange. And this is a common question / complaint I get from artists who are newer. I need to know what color you're using. If I just knew what color that artist was using, mine would look realistic too. No, yours would just be a cartoon with the right color. It's not about the color, it's about the values. Here, I needed this to go darker. It didn't matter if I went with the dark with the reddish brown, or if I went with red, or if I went with magenta. I just need it to be darker. So worry about your values. Dark's dark enough, light's light enough. That is the thing that is going to make your work look realistic, not having the perfect color. A good example of that, you can't really see it, the painting that I just finished this week. I'll pull it up later if I remember. But actually, let me download it really quick. But there's a painting. I'm going to take a quick pause here on this project because this is important to this lesson. Values are what makes it look realistic. And we get so hung up on, if I just, did I not post it on here? No, I did. But if values weren't the thing that made something look realistic, if it was just the color, then black and white things, by that logic, would not look so realistic. So I got that. Let me pull this up really quick. So this was one I painted this last weekend. It's in black and white. It looks super realistic because of the values. It's not even the details. It's not, I mean, the details to an extent, but that looks realistic because my lights are light enough and my darks are dark enough because my values were correct. If it was about color, if color really was the thing that was going to make the difference, and that's the thing that's going to make your work look realistic, if you just knew what color, black and white wouldn't look like that. Black and white wouldn't be able to look realistic. It's the values. It's always about the values. You could have the wrong color. You could paint a tiger in purple and make it look realistic just like he's under purple lighting. You have to, as long as you get your values right. If you pick the perfect color, so this goldfish I'm working on, if I get that color, I don't need this in here anymore, so let's, oops, delete that. If I get the perfect orange on this goldfish, congratulations, I have a cartoon goldfish. I've got to get my values right. It doesn't even matter that I have the same orange. Actually, this orange that I'm using right now is not even the same as what my reference photo is. That doesn't matter. My values are what matters. Dark's dark enough, light's light enough. Stop worrying about color. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not saying it plays no role, but it does. Jason said, am I drinking a decaf tonight? Actually, I just have water tonight. I didn't have time. I ran out of time, and I did not have time to make myself a tea, so I'm looking forward to making one after. And it will be probably decaf. I think I'm going to go with, what is it, blackberry sage tonight. And I am looking forward to that. Okay. Whoops, I'm stuck on cords. So back to this guy. I need to get these darker values, just a few in here. It's a little too dark. Just tap some of that off on the brush on a paper towel. And I'm going to go right up against where the black is. I'll have more of this dark color right at that transition. He's going to have a little of the orangey reds in his tail, not too much. Okay. I'm going to wipe this off, and now I'm just going to jump straight into the black and start blocking that in. And I can put highlights over this with my colored pencils, so I don't care if I go too dark here. Oh, we've got an email. Let's see if we've got news on Joey. I don't even know what happened. She said, this is so crazy. Actually, I should say they. I'm not sure if it's she or he. This is so crazy. It didn't even make me put a password in, but finally let me bid. I don't even know. I don't know. I will be emailing you later because I want to find out which account you use that. Well, I'd be able to see which account because I need to know how to fix it for other people. I had no idea though that it was saving people under two different areas, two different types of accounts. So at least I figured one thing out tonight. Okay. So now I will focus on stop paying attention to my email and actually do the artwork. but yay. Notice that I'm not worried about this being super solid because I'm going to be putting other colors in there anyway, so there's no reason to spend time trying to make it perfect. I have to build texture regardless. I love how this background came out. Oh, I think I do want to put a few little white sparkles behind the fish, though. I do like that on the reference photo, the little bubbles that were catching the light. I don't want to go as much as the reference photo has, but I'd like to create a little bit of that in there. And a lot of that, again, will be cleaned up with my pencils. Now, I don't need the patterns on this fish to be exact because it's not actually a pet portrait. But if I was painting someone's specific fish, then I need the markings to be exact. But on something like this, I don't need to really worry about that. Okay, I need white. I want a smaller, this guy will work. How much yellow is on there? Let me see if I can wipe that off enough that I can just use the other side without getting yellow. Well, I guess it wouldn't really matter if yellow got on this. Okay, so just the same little soft tool there. And I want to get a few just hints of little circles in the background. I want to get some variation, and they have to overlap. And every few, you can see how it's picking up some of the pigment there. Every few little circles, I'm just going to wipe that off on my paper towel and reload. And I'll soften these out. I don't want them to be quite that harsh. I just want that hint. They're not overlapping. I've got polka dots, so I need to make sure some of these are a little bit bigger. And there we go. It's also softening it out, so bonus there. I want mine to be a lot softer than what the reference photo has. And I'm not going to put these everywhere, just kind of trickling up in the background. Trickling, trickling, whatever. That is not going to show under the mat. I'm going to soften that a little bit more. I'm just lightly going to go over that with my finger. Okay, there we go. And now I need that white on his face as well. I'm not going to worry about the detail around the eye. That I'll do with my pencils. That just looks like a nightmare to try to do with this big old soft tool. I'm going to hold this to the side, just get the hint of some sparkly little scales in there. Okay, I think I'm about ready for my colored pencils. So the first thing that I'm going, well, I'm going to fix this. I need to spray this with my Spectrafix, and then I'm going to use a hairdryer to dry it. The reason that I'm going to dry that is two things. One, it speeds things up. But the other thing is with the Spectrafix, it's going to get that paper wet. The Canson MeTense is very absorbent, and it'll like really kind of warp up. Because it's taped down, and I use a hairdryer, that will just tighten it back up into shape. So I'm using that in my Spectrafix. Link is in the video description, is in a fine mist sprayer. This is going to prevent having too many heavy droplets. The bottle that Spectrafix comes in, it's heavy droplets. This is not going to seal it to the point where it's completely protected and I can rub my hand on it and it won't smudge. It will always smudge. That is just the nature of any type of pastels. But it's going to help seal this down so that when I go on top of the colored pencils, it's not completely mixing in with it. It'll stick a lot better. And this will help it to adhere more long-term to the paper. Okay, so just gonna lightly mist that. I say lightly and then I go on kind of heavy, and I'm gonna dry that. And you could probably see when I was using the dryer on it, it was kind of flapping in the wind. There, now that it's dry, it is all nice into place. Okay, now I need to put away my pastels and get out my colored pencils. So this will take just a moment. Let's see, where did I put my lid? Let's see, Nick had a comment about the auction. He said, for the auction site, I found that when you registered once, you never have to register again to bid. Sometimes it gets messed up if you try to re-register. Going directly to the bid works every time if you've registered once. Yeah, that must be the difference, is just how people are following the link. So maybe I need to change the description right now is like, make sure you register to bid before the auction starts. Maybe I need to change that so that like it says if you've never registered before, or log in here. I don't know. Let me know if you've got better ideas on how to word that. Oof. Okay. So I keep my colored pencils. I should probably put the link for this in the description. But these are just 3-drawer pastel boxes. And it makes it really easy, whoo, that almost hit the floor, to organize this. Okay, I have to, hold on, I can do it from here so I don't set off all your Amazon devices. My heat is too hot in here. Turning that off. It has been the absolute weirdest weather because we've got freezing like in the 20s coming up in a couple of days, or tomorrow night. Today it was 65. Texas is confused. Like, I actually ran my heater and my air conditioner within hours of each other. Okay. So what do I want to do first? I want to put up a piece of glassine, which I do not have ready. I have to say, though, as much as I thought I wasn't going to be ready tonight, I'm more ready than I expected, so I guess it's not that bad. Tape. So what I'm doing is taping the glassine onto the board there so that I can rest my hand, and this is an acid-free, pH neutral. It makes it so that I'm not smudging anything, I'm not getting the oils from my skin on the work. I can just rest my hand right on that. Okay. Let's start around the face. Also, what is this plane on here? It's kind of terrible. Urban Love. Yeah, no, you don't compare with Amberlin. Let's go back to Amberlin. That was kind of terrible. Oh, and apparently, sure, let's go with that. I have missed a super chat. Oh, we've got from Hitomi, said, for the pups, love the value tips. Also, Hitomi, your mouse, I said I was going to send it last week, and I fully intended to. So it wasn't that it was a lie. It was that I forgot and didn't. My intentions versus what I actually accomplish, never on the same page. It went out today. I packaged it last night. You're going to be getting that soon. So that mouse is on its way finally. Weirdly enough, it said 2-day priority, expected delivery was in like 7 days. So whatever that means. You should have gotten an email with the what's it called? Stop trying to get me to place ads. Stop it, go away. With the Tracking information, that's the word. So we have for the pups from Hitomi. Do you guys want a super chat? I think that's a yes. Oh, I'm too old to bend over. There you go. Oh, very tasty. I think these treats, though, I got, they've been giving Wade some not pleasant odors. Okay, go lay down. Go lay down. Good boys. Thank you, Hitomi. Lay down. No, not stand and stare at me. That is the opposite of the command you were given. I mean, you're very cute, but no. Well, Gibson, lay down. We're just not going to listen, huh? I mean, they're greyhounds. What do you expect? All the way. There we go. Good boys. Okay. So first thing, oh, why am I not, my music is still gone. Was that the only, make sure that was the only thing I missed. Yeah. Okay, and my mute, nope, that is a book. I don't want to listen to my book. I want to listen to my music, which is not playing. It's another night of Amberlin. Okay, it's usually Amberlin that I'm listening to. I need black for sure, and I'm going to go with my polychromos just because it sharpens to a finer point, and I'm getting a lot of finer details on this. I'm going to need a pencil sharpener, which is right here, and my shavings. I just use, this had, I think, like pasta sauce or something in it. It works great for collecting shavings. And I've got my sharpener. I'm going to need white, and I'm going to go with my polychromos white just because it's not going to be quite as bold, and I don't necessarily want it too in your face. I want to keep the softness there. Any areas where I want it to be a little bit more opaque, then I'll switch over to probably my Derwent Light Fast. It's got a really nice opaque color to it. And then I need, now my oranges, that I would like to be more opaque. So let's see with my with that I'm thinking, because Derwent Light Fast doesn't have great oranges or not a huge selection. So I'm going to go with my Caran d'Ache Luminance here. And I think this one is just orange. And this looks like a nice, oh, box is falling apart. Hold on, pencil's stuck. There we go. This is golden something yellow. We'll go with that. And I've got my white. I need a magenta or a reddish tone, a darker red. So this should work. This one is, I don't know how to say that. Pearl something brown. It's like brick red. Okay, I think these will work out very well. Okay, so let's start with the eye. We've got that center. Now I'm pushing pretty hard here. That keeps my edges nice and clean. And then we've got right around that outer edge. It's not as dark on this side, so I'm not going to push quite as hard. We've got some orange, and this is why I wanted a more opaque pencil, because I'm going up against the gray. And if I went up against that gray with a more translucent one, like my polychromos, it's going to be more muted. It won't stand out as much as what I want. Okay, I'm going to sharpen my reddish brown color here. Now this sharpener, can you see how it's kind of eating, like see the little cracks and stuff? It's not sharp enough. That one is at the end of its life cycle. That blade needs to be replaced. If I had sharpened that with how rough that looks on a, I don't know how clear that is, but it's really rough, like kind of, I could get splinters. If that was with a polychrome or a Prismacolor, you would have just snapped the Prismacolor for sure. Because God, why are words so hard? Because the Caran d'Ache Luminance, they are a harder lead. They're wax-based, but they are harder. They can handle it better. So that is, but that anytime it's kind of frayed like that, it looks worse in person than it looks on that camera. It definitely, that sharpener is going to need to be replaced, because if you've got an iffy pencil, it is definitely going to be angry about that. We've got the gills coming right through here. And a little bit of that dark right inside the eye and around the edge. I'm going to go on top of that to soften it out with my orange. I'll burnish over it, but it'll still be darker. Darker than it was anyway. We lost some of his chin in the background there, so I'll just pull that back out. I want to round off his little face. Give him some fish lips. I need a, I want a, Polychromos has a, actually I think they call it light flesh. I think they renamed it though, because that's a weird thing. Though I don't know, the word flesh just sounds like zombie to me. This one will work. I think this one, yeah, this one's cinnamon. I didn't end up using it after all that. Yeah, this is just ripping these pencil shavings up. That is like, that is so, yeah, that sharpener is done. I need to grab another one because I'm going to get really mad when it starts to break the lead. You know a sharpener is dull when it's damaging these pencils. If you see that on a Prismacolor, it's sometimes hard to tell. Is it the pencil or is it the sharpener? But this is, when it's one of these brands, yeah, it is definitely the pencil. I mean, the sharpener. Okay. So basically what I wanted was a darker peach color. Just to go over this. And that is cinnamon. That's working perfect. That's exactly what I needed. And what I like to do is just pick one area and focus on that. I don't want to work here and then work on the tail and jump back and forth. Things tend to come out looking interesting in not a positive way. So if I can just focus on one area at a time, things are typically going to come out looking much better. Let's go with, I think I'm going to do a little bit of the cinnamon and then the orange around or inside. So get that sort of shading on the white portion of the face. I'm going to define a little bit more with the white there. I'm going to lighten up in here. Now when I put the white over where I put the colored pencil especially, it's just going to lighten up what's already there. It's not necessarily going to make it white again. If I need it to be brighter white, then I want to go with a more opaque pencil. But here it's just going to blend in with what I've got. He's got a little beauty mark right there. A few little marks around his face. Oh, that's actually what I brought the cinnamon out for, was the inside of the mouth. Let me grab a slightly darker color here. Not slightly, it's a lot darker, that brick red looking color. Now, this area of his mouth is a little bit too pointy. I need to find a similar color to what my background was, or I could use the Pan Pastels again. But if I can find, oops, why are you stuck? You might work. I don't need this color to be exact. Something kind of close. Oh yeah. Oh, it feels so good to use a good sharpener. It's like that feeling when your feet are super sore and you take off your shoes. That's what switching from a crappy sharpener to the good one felt like to me right now. Okay, so I want to form his face, like form the shape there just a bit more. And I'm going to smudge that out. I'm going to put cinnamon over it. Just let that blend out with that background. And I can go over that with my Pan Pastel, or yeah, with the Pan Pastels later if it looks too harsh to me. Okay, let's get this fin while we're at it, because I've got that similar color now. Defining some of those lines, and I'll define some of them with the white as well. So I'll do both. Whenever I do fins, I'll put little dots so the light is catching the tip of them. And that's what that is there. And let's see. I want to define the orange and the white here a bit better. I've got that reddish, I'm just going to call it brick red. That's what it looks like to me. Something I can't pronounce, brown. Actually, I'm going to need, I think, a little bit of a lighter. Well, let's find out. Do I need lighter than this? I think this is going to be, yeah, that's too dark. I need a lighter version of that teal for some of the highlights over the black. So let's grab that now. This might be too dark too. Maybe. What other colors do we have? Ooh. Spruce green. That actually might work better. Yeah, spruce green it is. Who would have thought? It's subtle, but it works. Okay, where are we? So this part of the body sticks out more. I'm gonna pull that out. Using this to get some of those scales in there. Now, I'm not going to try to put every scale. I just want to get the hint of some of them in there. If I can just hit a few of them, your brain basically fills in the rest of them in this case. Oops, I'm going to go with the darker, my brick red that's not really brick red. But if you try to get every single one of those scales, unless you're doing something that's like really, you're going to take more time and make every little thing more realistic, especially if you're working larger. On this scale, this small, something we're doing quicker, if I try to put in every scale, it's just going to look ridiculous. It won't look like scales. It looks really fake. So I've got some of that orange that fades up into the black. And then let's try that spruce green. It looks good, but I need a little bit lighter still. How light are you? I think you're too dark. Yeah, I don't like you. I appreciate the effort, but that's no. Here we go. Let's see what we've got in here. That looks just as dark. I may just have to go with a lighter one, like this one is cobalt green. It's pretty light. It's like an aqua. Yep, that'll be what I do. And then I can go over it where it's too bright with one of the darker teal or the spruce green color. But I need this to stand out. The other ones are just too dark. This actually looks really good. Come up to this fin, get some of that cinnamon there, and then I'm going to use the white pulling some of that so those are more defined, especially this top area. I'm pushing a lot harder where I want that to really stand out. Not only does it make it more opaque, but it keeps that line nice and smooth, really clean, so it doesn't look fuzzy. Whoops. Ooh. I ninja caught that. Matrix. Now we're using black, and I'm just going to pull these markings into that fin. Some of these get really short, and then some come out a lot longer. Now I want to push pretty hard here too, so my lines are very smooth. Oh, I really like this guy. He is cute. Sorry, itchy eyelid. I'm going to do the little dots again for where the light catches on the tip of the fin. Okay. We have an area. background kind of shows through here. So I'm just going to fill that in with a little bit of the blue to break up his body right in there. Okay, we've got, I'm going to come back to this fin. I'm going to do this tail first. So I need to scooch this over a bit. First, I want to kind of map out which section of the fin it is. So we've got this one here, that one back there. This here connects down, and then this one's separate. Okay, so now I know what goes where. This one's just kind of soft and in the background, so I'm just going to give the hint of some of these fins. Not going to go super crazy there. And then these are the ones where I'm going to go more defined. Especially when I'm closer to the body of the fish. As I get out here, I'm going to lift the pencil so I'm not pushing so hard. That's going to let it be a lot lighter. Now, worst case scenario, let's say I go too bright, everything's just too white all the way to the end. I just need to take my colored pencils and pull some of that color into, or something similar to give that fin that translucent look. So it's not really a big deal, but it is better if you can go ahead and try to leave some of that background color showing through at the end so that it looks translucent. Notice these lines are all slightly curved. We don't want a bunch of straight lines here. It would look very stiff, very weird. I'm going to take the cinnamon and just darken this white fin. So I want it defined, but I want it to be a little bit darker. Pick up some of those colors in the background. I'm going to do the same thing here. This one actually needs a bit of orange too at the base. Orange and then the black. And this doesn't go exactly how it is to the reference photo where that black line is. That's fine. Close is close enough. Now notice here, I'm curving this way. I'm going to flip it so it's like happy face this side, and as the fin starts to bow out the other way, sad face. This is going to help it to look more three-dimensional just based on which direction those lines are going. I can take my white and pull some back in through here. But see how with using the polychromos white, it's much more subtle. When I first started working with polychromos, I had been used to working with wax-based pencils, and so with the polychromos white, I bought a ton of them, and then almost never used them and thought, well, that was a waste because I really like the wax-based whites better. No, there are times where polychromos white, you can't beat it because it's much more subtle. Sometimes you don't want super opaque. So yeah, that's definitely one of those, oops, broke the tip. One of those pencils. See, look at how subtle that is. If I did that right now with my Derwent Lightfast, it's going to be too bright. It's going to stand out way more than what I want. And I'm going to pull some of the teal and aqua colors into this. This one is the, what was that? Cobalt green. It's aqua. I don't know why they thought they'd get all fancy with it. It's aqua. I'm telling you, they need to let me name things. They would just make way more sense. A little bit of white defining in here. And I'm going to take the black and really define. I'm going to push a lot harder just on a few of these, not all of them. This is going to give me some more variation there in the values. I'm gonna do the little dots where the transparent part of the fin is catching light. Remember with fish, unless it's a fish that actually has spots, don't put those dots in the body. It looks like a parasite. No one wants that, but just on the tips of the fins here, so it looks like the light is catching. And that's a more stylized thing. It's not, that's how it really looks. It's kind of like if you're drawing something and like someone is wiping their hand or like rushing their hand really fast one direction, you might put little lines that gives the look of wind. No, not if you're going realistically, but it does make it look like the hand moved. And that's kind of the same thing with these. It gives the impression that the light is catching. Is that how it would really look? No, sort of, sometimes, but not like that. Okay, now we are going to get these guys. I waited on this last fin because I needed to overlap the tail fin. We've got black right along here. Oh, this one actually would have been some black too. Okay, now it's basically done, so I'm just going to go around and clean up anything that needs a little bit more detail. I want to clean up edges. I'm looking at the reference photo, but that's not really my focus right now. Actually, I want to pull some more black into the body there, but it's just paying attention to the little things. What would make mine look better? So I want to actually come through with some of these kind of blotches where the scales would be a lot darker, so I'm pushing pretty hard here. And this area really needs to be defined. I completely missed that. I hope you guys have a lot of questions because this project was way faster than I planned on it being. I'll take a few extra minutes though to perfect everything. And actually this one I know for sure we've got bids on, so if you guys want, I can mat this and you can see exactly how I mat my stuff. I can do a demonstration of that when it's done. Let's grab some cinnamon. I want a bit more white on his face too. Let's pull that up. We'll lighten some of it. Just getting some variation in the values. I really like the softness of this guy, so I don't want to overdo details either. I've got to watch that. It's really easy to sit here and go, I've got plenty of time, keep working on it, and I kind of lose that soft feel. So I will have to stop with that in just a moment. Look how, as I darken this, how it makes what's next to it right here look that much lighter, and that was just that base layer. And I want this transition between the black and the orange to be a little bit softer, so I'm going to take that brick red color that's not really called brick red, but if I was allowed to name things, that's what, oh, look, the tip broke. This was the one that got torn up from that pencil sharpener. Let's sharpen that again with a sharper sharpener. Good enough. Just pull in a little bit of that in there, a couple of areas. Oh, I love this guy. He is so cute. Actually, if I met him, I need to get a good photo of him first, so you guys will have to excuse me for like 2 minutes so I can get a photo. The room here, it's actually my bathroom. Or well, it's not the bathroom portion, it's the like vanity portion. But the lighting in there actually works really good for getting photos at night. So I need because I probably will want to make postcards out of this guy. I love how he came out. I'm going to need to make, take a couple of photos so that I can do that before I mat him. But let me show you first how I would mat him. Or no, not how I would mat him, how I would sign him. So because the paper is larger than what the mat would cover intentionally, I want to position him so that I know where to sign it. Because if I didn't, I'd probably sign way down here. But that mat, to make it a 5x7, is going to be about like that. And what do I want to sign you with? Probably the white's fine. Do I want to sign you here? No, I want you over here. Okay, so see what I mean by holding the mat up there? Look at the difference in where that really needed to have that, because that's where it gets, oh gosh, he is cute. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I wish I could take you with me so I could show you how I photograph, but let me go grab my, I can talk you through it though. I think the microphone will reach in here. Let me grab my DSLR. And because my cat, you may not be able to hear me in here. And there are white. It makes it really easy to get the white. Okay, so let me find an SD card that wants to work. I've got a bunch over here that are going to give me the finger. That's why they're over here. Are you going to actually work for me? Oh, I guess so. Okay. Ooh, battery's running low. So I will be right back. I'm going to grab a photo of this and then we're going to mat this. Now I remember why I don't normally mat it during the live stream, because I can't photograph it that way. Yeah, that should be good enough. Oh wait, maybe not. I think I broke it. Oh, it's having a problem with the card. Hold on. Okay, a few more images. Just take this with me. I don't know if that's probably a problem with the card I used. That's why those cards are over there. I just need to make sure it read that once it saves this last image. Wow, I've never had it go that slow. I really need to go through and delete my, there we go. I need to delete, or toss, not delete. Yeah, those photos are fine. Okay, I need to delete, or I keep saying delete, toss all of these SD cards I store up that don't work well. Okay, let me move, because we're going to do this on this table here. Oh, I guess I have to actually go get a mat too. I'm not as prepared for this as I thought, but we got done so early. Seems like a good opportunity to show you how to do this. Okay, I will be right back. Let me go grab a mat and the backing. and other tape, which I decided to lose apparently. I just used it last night. You can't be that far. It's probably where that missing USB drive is. Maybe it's over here. I'm missing one last. I've got backup tape I can use, but it's easier if I use the skinny one. I may have, here it is. Yay. So when you make sure that every single thing you're using is, wrong thing, palette is the right thing. You want to make sure that everything is acid-free. So I've got my pH neutral acid-free masking tape. I'm gonna have to adjust this a bit. I've got my acid-free double-sided tape. I'm gonna have to, oh no, it's just gonna keep going in and out of focus. That won't be inconvenient at all. Oh, it'll be just like my Patreon videos the last couple of weeks. Okay. So the first thing, we can put these off to the side. I don't need those just yet. We're going to bring over the artwork itself. Now, this was just taped down tonight, so it shouldn't have an issue with sticking. But if you have had your works taped to the board, let me see if I can fix the focus is a bit ridiculous right now. Yeah, your autofocus is just failing. So let's get rid of, turn it off. There. I think that's probably better. Okay. But if you had this tape down for any length of time, the tape is going to be more likely to stick to the artwork. One of the things you can do, actually, Joseph Fincham, I believe, was the one who taught me this. Take your hairdryer and heat that up. And it seems like such common sense, so I don't know how I didn't figure it out on my own, but there we go. But if this is sticking and it starts to tear the paper, if you take a hairdryer, heat that up, it will come off so much easier. So if you've had your work taped to a board for any length of time, it's always a safe way to go. The next thing I'm going to do is just slowly pull it away from the artwork. That way, if it does rip, it rips out here. That gets covered by the mat. It doesn't matter. Never pull in towards the artwork, because if that edge rips in, you're screwed. So always slow and away. And you may think you're a pro at this and you can go really fast. Yeah, that works out well till it doesn't. If you're going slow, it also gives you time to see if something's starting to rip. Now, in this case, if something did start to rip, it wouldn't matter because I have so much extra space that the mat is going to cover. I could just trim that off. But only if I'm doing it like this, so it's ripping or, coming off at a very slow pace, so I can control. If it does start, I can stop. And Hanson MeTens is probably that one and Stonehenge are really prone to ripping, so you want to be careful with these guys. Okay, so let's move this board out of the way. The next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and get some of my pH neutral, the black masking tape. I'm going to grab a couple of these, get that ready. I'm just going to rip those into smaller pieces, and I stick it on the end of my table, so I'm ready to grab them. Now we've got to position our mat right on top where we want that. And I'm going to slide this. I'll try not to touch it too much. And then flip it over. That is actually pretty even. Sometimes I'll do this and my drawing will be like at a weird angle, so I have to keep flipping it back and forth till I get it positioned so it's straight, but that's pretty good. And I'm just going to tape the edge. Now this is why you need pH neutral tape. It's touching the artwork. If the mat is not pH neutral, if the backing isn't, if the tape isn't, that over time can start making your the paper get brittle and yellow it anywhere where that tape is touched. So like I know when I was younger, I used to use regular, younger, like a teenager before I was selling it, but I used to use regular Scotch tape. That is not a good idea. Now the other thing is you could just tape here. I also like to tape these longer sides because they will sometimes gap up even when you put the backing on and it looks kind of terrible. I see artists do that sometimes at art shows where you can tell they got lazy is all it was. Put the extra tape on there. It'll look nicer when it's matted. So there's no real gaps. This side isn't a big deal. That usually isn't, it's the longer sides I worry more about, but while I'm talking about not being lazy, let's not be lazy. Next, we're going to take my acid-free double-sided tape. And I get this in the scrapbook section. Actually, I don't even get it. This one is by Scotch, but I don't even get it from, I used to get it from like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. The price was insane. The last time I looked, it was like $15 or it was so, God, I don't even remember. It might've been more than that. So it was a lot. I don't remember what it was last I checked, but it was a lot less on Amazon. So that is my recommendation. Check Amazon. I mean, always check everywhere. Check Blick, check wherever. But for some reason, this specific tape, and it was the only, in one of the places, I think Michael's carried it, but it was too expensive. Hobby Lobby didn't even carry acid-free last time I went, not the one by me. I even asked an employee and they couldn't find anything. There is no acid-free scrapbook double-sided tape anymore. Okay, so now we get to sit and peel all of these little ends off. Make sure you just push one of them down really well, whichever end you're gonna peel up. Otherwise, sometimes the whole piece of tape comes with it. I know, this is super exciting, isn't it? Oh, I missed a spot. I'm more tape happy than you probably need to be. I don't think you need this much double-sided masking tape, but you know, it's gonna look nice. I like to make sure that backing totally sticks. Now, not everyone does this step. I know a lot of artists will just put the backing in. Hell, I may have done that myself at some point, but they'll just bag it with the board on the back to like keep it from bending. It looks so much more professional though. Tape it, because when the person who wins this auction gets this, it is going to look so much nicer than if they pull it out of the board and they see this backing with all this tacky looking tape. They're not even, well, they're going to know because they're watching this video, but they're not going to like see that and see that end of it. So next, I'm going to sit this upright and push these two together to make sure it's lined up. I know the camera's not great for this, but I'm going to make sure those are lined up really well. And then I'm just going to go around the edge and push that down. Oh, that came loose. Why did you come loose? That's weird. Let's try that again. Why didn't you stick? Oh, you're sticking now. There we go. And oh, that is not sticking well. Why are you giving me an attitude today? Now you're sticking. You're just complete with moodiness. Were you hanging out with Chicken today? Actually, Chicken wasn't moody today. Chicken was moody yesterday. Those who don't know, I call my cockatiel. He's a shoulder chicken, so his name is Chicken. Okay, let's stick this in there. We've got this bag that is going to protect it, so we won't have any smudges on the way to the new owner. And we just fold that down, and that is it. But look at now how nice this looks compared to, there's no tape on the back. It just looks super clean, very professional. And that is what the owner will get. So whoever wins this, you're just gonna take this and pop it into any standard 8x10 frame. So the inside, 5x7, the outer, when you count the mat, that just fits into your standard 8x10 frame. You want it behind glass, and there you go. That is it. That is the finish. Now, I'm often asked if I do, if I seal my colored pencil work. Here, no, just the pan pastels. If I use pan pastels, if I use powder blender with colored pencil, those I'm going to use a sealer. For pan pastels, I use Spectrafix. For powder blender, the brush and pencil products, I use the brush and pencil final fixative. But if let's say I'm just doing colored pencils, like if you guys remember the really realistic oranges I did recently for one of those, the colored pencil lessons over on Patreon. Nice little plug there, huh? But that one, it's just colored pencil blended with OMS on hot press watercolor paper. No, I did not seal that with anything. That's just the colored pencil. It doesn't need to be sealed. It just needs to be put behind frame. We also have from JL a super chat. So we've got, oh look, head popped up. You guys want a super chat from JL? Thank you so much. Yay! Oh, puppies get treats. You deserve it. You've been good boys, huh? Thank you so much. I love when Gibson gets so excited and his eyes are, like, you can see the top of the whites of his eyes when he looks down at it. Yeah, that's very good. But, okay, you need to keep your head out of the bag. Go lay down. Go lay down. Lay down. Lay down. There we go. One good one. You now. Lay down. Gibson. Oh, we got to stretch. And now we're going to lay down. There we go. Thank you again so much, Jael. Okay, I need water. Hold on. Okay, so we will start going through your questions now. And one of the things I promised last week is that I would show you a demonstration of my projector so you can see how bright it is. I can kind of do it, but it's going to be a creative way to do it because I still cannot find the USB. I spent like 3 hours on, when was that, Thursday night? That's why I have, if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, MeWe, I posted the thing about how much time I actually, like, reasons I clean my studio because it needs it versus I lost something and it's mostly that I lost it. Yeah, it was because of that. I had spent 3 hours. I got sick of it. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to go make a meme or a pie chart. I need a pie chart for this. So yeah, I never did find it. One of these days it's just going to show up and it's probably right in front of my face. And for some reason, I can't find, and only that, and I don't know why that is with that Artograph. It's an older projector. They don't make that specific one anymore, but only that USB drive works. So I can hook it up to my laptop and use a, I forget what the cable's called. That does work, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you a sample of how that works. So I have to do some creative. I need to turn that light off. So that's a bit bright. Let me see. How do I want to do this? Oh, I've got to put the power thing in. This is going to be like the most ridiculous mess of wires right now, but I want you to see, when we were talking last week about projectors, and a good projector, you should be able to see even when the lights are on. So this is mine. I did a review on it years ago. It's just an old Artograph digital projector, and it uses a USB card sticks right out of the back, and it's just not, oh, something fell. Hope that wasn't important. It's just, I can't find it. So we have that, and then I'm going to take this little fun handy cable, because it's already hooked up to my computer. We're just going to pull that out of my monitor and plug this in. I'll probably have to turn the lights off from above the, how can I show you this? Probably with this. We'll just back that up. Oh, I saw that Oreo beagle. I'm going to do this first really quick though. So it's still fairly light. Even I can put this one on. So it's semi-light in here, but we're going to turn this guy on. And you would put it on a tripod. You would not stand here and hold it like what I'm doing right now. So there's a little knob on top where I can bring it in or out of focus. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. You're welcome. And it's showing up more in person than what you're able to see on the camera. The camera actually looks kind of faded. We've got keyframes that I can sit and, or keystones, and straighten that out. So like if I'm not, oh, it needs to be back here. You're not working because I'm not in the right place. It doesn't like what I'm doing right now. It doesn't like that I keep moving it, so it can't really work. It should be on a tripod. I make a terrible tripod apparently. But anyway, you can reposition it that way, and then depending on how close or how far away would determine, I can pull it back in focus, how big it is. You just move that back and forth. But you can see I've got pretty bright lights in here, and you can still see that really clearly over what I'm doing. So that's a good projector with this, and it's even better. If you turn the lights off, you can see even that much more. But with a good projector, here, this way you can kind of see how I'm holding this. Like I said, should be on a tripod. Out of focus. Let's pull that back in. There we go. And I've got 3 camera lights around me, and you can still see it that well. So like even in bright daylight, I was always surprised at how well I could see. Okay, that's enough of this nonsense. Because when I had an old Artograph projector that was not a digital, it was just one of those that you sat it on top of your image, and let's pull lights back on. you would just set it on top of your photograph. One, it would kind of melt the photograph, so that was never fun. But you had to have that room pitch black, and even then it still didn't show up that well. These digital projectors, definitely worth it. And we were talking last week about which ones. I'm not sure. Artograph has one right now that I think was $450-ish. It was on Blick or Amazon. And that one's probably, if I were to get one today, that's probably the one I would go with. They also had another one that was like $900. I'm sorry, it's getting ridiculous at that price. You guys should be getting cheaper. Like, projectors are coming down in price. Why are you going up? But yeah, so anyway, a good projector, you should be able to see very, very well. Brittany said some of the projectors under 100 I see for sale work best in a dark room and not in a room with lights on. Yeah, so it's going to be, I guess that gets into your lumens and how bright it is. That one has been wonderful. And as much as I would like to review other projectors for you guys, I can't afford to go spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on something I already have, even though it's not working. So I don't know, maybe I can contact the company and see if they want to send it to me to do a review, and I can send it back to them because I don't actually need it. Maybe I can convince them to do a giveaway. Probably not. Usually those smaller companies like that don't do that. But I'll ask for them and see what they say. So anyway, that hopefully gives you guys a best, yeah, it's based on lumens is what Rob said. That would give you guys a bit of an idea there. Oh, and wait, I already gave it. Did I give them? I didn't. I don't remember if I gave them the Oriole Beagles treat. I don't remember. We're going to do it again. Do you want another treat that you might have already gotten? You guys want a super chat? I don't remember. So we're getting one right now because I don't want to risk having missed it. There we go. Good boys. Let's see. So we've got some questions that are coming in, and I'll go through now. Okay, boys, go lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Oh, you got stinky breath. Go lay down. Almost. So close. Lay down. Gibson, can you go slower? Like, seriously. Slowest race dogs ever. Hold on, my music changed again, and I don't know what I'm listening to. 10th Avenue North. Yeah, I'm going to go past. Let's go back to Amberlin. Okay. Let's see. Questions. So our first question comes from Max, who said, I'm having trouble mixing wet, dry with acrylics. Wet to dry. Wet, dry? I'm putting the paint, I put the paint, and when I'm going to smudge, the edges of the whole paint come off. Oh, yeah, I know what's happening. What am I doing wrong? Too much water? I'm using Frederick's watercolor board and Liquitex Basics. Okay. So you're mixing wet paint over a dry area, I'm guessing. And when you smudge the edges, the whole paint comes off. So many things could cause this. One, if you have too much water, it just works like an eraser. When you go over it, it just takes all that paint off. Two, you don't have enough water. And when you go to smudge the edges, it just kind of sticks and you get this harsh edge right around. It doesn't blend or smudge like it should. If it's completely coming off, that's a too much water thing. Whether there's too much water on the brush you're blending with or there's too much water on the canvas. One of those two things is normally going to be the problem when that paint is coming up. You just have to practice. You just have to keep playing with it. How much water versus how much paint do you need to get it to blend the way that you want it to do? Let's see. Jason said, how do you store the finished pieces when you use pan pastel so that there's no pastel work off? I have storage boxes. These little, I got them at Blick. They're like acid-free, like scrapbooking boxes. And I stack them in there. And then if I'm not being lazy, I'll put a piece of glassine in between each piece. The lazy factor is strong in this one though. Let's see. Gracious Valley said, my son's dragon ended up being female. Originally, she was named Martin, and he still wants a boy, so he can have a Martin, but he named her Sheila. So eventually he wants Sheila and Martin. Yeah, I'm not even positive still that it's a boy. I think it's a boy. I don't know. If I ever find eggs in there, I'll know I was wrong. Yeah, so he's just Dragon. Because I kept walking in going, hi, Dragon, because it was just easier since I wasn't sure, and it stuck. Let's see. Fluffy said, hi, Lisa, not sure if you know what Neopets is. Last night I zapped mine into a goldfish, Moroccan something cheek, which is an incredibly rare occurrence, and today you are painting a goldfish. Coincidence. So Neopets, I was really into those in like 2004, 2005. the pets. I had a pet for my pet. It was like a pet flea that was a pet for our pet fly, something like that. That was a pet for my pet's pet. I got such a kick out of that crap. So yes. But then I got hooked on World of Warcraft, and now I can collect pets there instead and mounts. Kathy said, I was hoping you would show the whale tonight. Love the way it came out. Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. You know, it's funny. It's been sitting on my easel since I finished it. And there have been a couple times I came in here. Matt will come into the studio because he comes in and hangs out with Dragon and play, you know, carries him around and stuff. But I caught him in here just staring at the painting. He keeps bugging me that he wants to take it to work and put it in his office because he has a new office. And I'm like, I'll paint you something else. That one is for my room. Like, it's the colors, the theme, everything. He wants me to make the lines because I had considered making the double yellow lines yellow. So yeah, he keeps saying it would look so good in his office. And I'm like, like whales aren't even his thing. I don't know why he wants that painting, but it was odd for me to see him come in and like really looking closely at it. My husband's an artist. He's a fairly judgy artist. So the fact that he liked that one that much kind of surprised me. I mean, he likes my work, but to see him like on his own, to like catch him when he didn't know I was looking, like in here studying and really looking at what I painted, was kind of a cool thing, but he still doesn't get to keep it. It's my painting. I'll make him his own. Squids are his thing. I should paint him a squid. Let's see. Pharaoh said, a question not related to tonight's. Do the Frederick's watercolor boards work well with colored pencil? I wouldn't. I think they're too rough. I've not tried it, but I can tell you right now, I would not like the texture. Like it's not for me. You could try it, but I just think it's way too rough. Does that mean you couldn't produce something cool with it? No, absolutely. It just isn't my first choice or second or third or like even eighth. Like so many things I think are better for colored pencil. Jason said, would you want to use the same color for highlighting in the section that you are working on for the fish, or change the value throughout the piece? I'm already so far beyond that, I don't even know how to answer that. So I'm going to go with no, because I don't know. I'm not there. So I'm so far beyond that, I can't even imagine what part of the piece I was working on to answer that. Sorry. Dina said, what are your tips for drawing reptile scales in colored pencil? I lose my place all the time and would love to see you draw your bearded dragon as an example. It's funny you say that, because I actually want to do one in color. I want to do colored pencil and digital, because I want to make stickers for my digital planner of him. But I guess I could do that with colored pencil. Anyway, point is, yes, I am going to be doing him in colored pencil, and so I'll be showing you more there. You're just taking your time. Like, it is going to be time consuming. You can't rush it. If you're going to go in, and it's kind of like the fish where I was talking about earlier, you either have to sit there and get every scale like pretty much exact, but you're going to work larger, or you're going to get the hint of scales if you're doing something that's a little bit looser, like what the Goldfish was. In my case, I want to do a close-up of his face, and I want to get every scale in there. I want to get every single one shaded, and it's going to be a long process. There's no... We always look for a way to sort of rush through or get something done faster. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in this case, with those scales, there's no rush in it. You're going to sit there one at a time. And yeah, you're probably going to lose your place sometimes. And you're going to sit there going, okay, 15 scales this direction, 14 this direction. Now, that doesn't mean they all have to be exact, but I'm going to go for close. I'm going to go for very close so that in the end it looks super, super realistic. But yes, I'll probably be doing him, I'm thinking either an 8x10 or an 11x14, but it's going to be a close-up of just his face, so I've got room to get the like insane detail there. So that is the plan. So I'll be showing you firsthand how to do that. Okay. Nick said, if you're using a projector, how do you get out of the way of the projection when you're tracing an outline? You move. I put it on it's on a tripod, and I stand to the side and like reach over here. Now, to an extent, I'm kind of used to doing that because I've always got, you can kind of see here, I've always got a video camera. I'm used to working off to the side, but yeah, you just kind of sit off to the side to draw that in. Fly Me to the Moon said, just tell them you are showing a bunch of art supply addicts. They'll be happy to give you one. Well, I'll see, because I wouldn't mind giving it back to them. I mean, if they want to loan me one or send one so I can make a video, and because I have no need to keep it. Like, I'm perfectly happy with mine, minus, I don't know where my USB drive is. But yeah, I'll reach out to them. I need to remember to reach out to them. Brittany said some of the project. Okay, we answered. I did that one earlier. Fran said, thanks for showing the projector. All I found this week is that since Artograph sold, customer service has gone down the tubes. Oh, that sucks. That sucks bad. Because the old Artograph, I talked to a gentleman who had clearly been in the business a while, and he was so friendly and so knowledgeable and so helpful, and that sucks. Oh, I hate hearing that. Like Frederick sold out, but they went to, why my brain shut down. Who owns them now? McPherson's. But I love McPherson's. So like, I know they've got great customer service, so I'm not even worried about them. So that sucks that they sold out to someone who doesn't. So yeah, I'll reach out. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know for sure, one way or another in a live stream, how that went. Am I still planning to publish the Dragon Build Tank? I am, but here's the thing. So I have a YouTube coach that I'm paying. It's not that much for the help that I'm getting. It's through vidIQ. I signed up for like their early, because you get a discount if you sign up early and try it out. And at first, I'll give you guys a little review actually for those of you who are YouTubers, if this may be interesting to you. So vidIQ gives tips, like they've got a channel here on YouTube and it gives you tips on making better videos, better thumbnails, better whatever, all the YouTube tips. But they had a thing they just started where they have a coaching program, one-on-one coaching. And I'm like, I know I'm missing something. I can't get any videos to rank. When you're so close to it, because you're creating it, you don't notice what you're doing that is just uninteresting to people. I mean, to me, I'm making it. I'm like, the whole thing's boring. I don't know. It doesn't interest me. But I'm making it. So I wanted an outside opinion of a professional. I mean, I've been talking to, me and Jason Morgan are constantly talking about coming up with ideas, but we're both kind of in the same boat. Neither one of us really know what to change that would make the YouTube algorithm happy. But I have to figure it out. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with vidIQ. They've got a good reputation. My first week, I was certain I was going to end up making a video bashing the crap out of them because I thought it was terrible. Like the coach was like, let's get to know each other type thing. I'm thinking, I'm not paying for a friend. I'm not a friendly person. I don't want a friend. I want you to fix my... everything about it. Like I had so many complaints. And then week 2 comes around and we start working on things that were a little bit more helpful. Week 3, week 4, I signed up, I think, I want to say like the beginning of December, end of November. I'm into my 2nd month, I think, right now. Oh my gosh, I can't say enough good about it. He is helping me with my thumbnails, things that I would not have done. Like my last one, and it was the video with tuna, so it's been a while. But I had my idea for the thumbnail, and he's like, no, you need to do this. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to work. But also, my way obviously doesn't work, so let's go ahead and try his. Sure enough, outperformed my other one by a large margin, which normally doesn't happen when I do A/B testing through TubeBuddy, and so I can see how each thumbnail is performing. Oh my gosh, his idea, way better. So that definitely gave me some trust in him, but it's also nice to have somebody that I can kind of bounce ideas like, well, what if I do this? Or what do you think I should do for this? So now we're working right now together on the Bearded Dragon tank. And so that's why it's taking so long, because from the script has changed. I don't even know how many times, improving it. And it's turned into, I completely took it another direction, but I think it's going to make it more interesting. And I went and got more B-roll so I could show you better what I'm doing. I wish I had recorded more as I was doing it, but whatever. So, I did it months ago, so we can only do so much with that. But like this weekend, I went and got more B-roll. I've already done the thumbnail. I've got to do the words on the thumbnail, but most of the thumbnail's done now. I haven't even started recording the me talking portion of it, and I've got the thumbnail done. So it's a very different way to approach things with working with a coach who knows what they're doing. So yeah, I am loving, and it's so funny because I thought this was going to be a waste because what they were talking to me about with the tips the first week, it was stuff for beginners. And I'm like, my channel's larger. I've been doing this for 12, 13 years, whatever, since 14 years, a long time. The beginner stuff, I know. I need more advanced, like I'm beyond this. I need help over here. Can we focus on this? And I don't care about that stuff. I've already done all that stuff. So yeah, no, once we got to the stuff that I was interested in, the thumbnails and titles, which I have a huge problem with, and now working on the storytelling aspect of the script, I mean, he gave me guidelines that are just mind-blowing, because it's like as much tips and many things as I've read about how to do that better, it wasn't clicking. He sent me at one point I think it was like 5 examples of good storytelling. One was like Peter McKinnon. A lot of these were videos I've already seen before, but he put them in order because I want you to watch these. And when I watched them in order, for some reason, something in my brain went, oh, it makes sense. I wasn't getting it before. And so, yeah, like, I'm not a good storyteller. I can talk nonstop. We all know that, but that's not the same as being a good storyteller. So he's kind of walking me through, there's like formulas for doing that better. So I'm trying to get to where I can make it more interesting. Point of this whole story, see, look, I'm not good at storytelling. I just talk. we're trying to make it so that you guys will enjoy it more and watch it more. My click-through rates would be better. My thumbnails, we're working on all of that. So I'm hoping to start recording like the part where I need to talk and start putting this together more. Once the script, I should have the script done tomorrow. Then I can start recording this weekend. So hopefully soon, but it's like the first full video that I'm really, really working with him on, and that's why it's taking so long. Once we go through a few of these, I can start uploading more often, but because what happens with vidIQ, I can do 3 messages. All the messages can be up to like 750 characters. That's not a lot of room for someone who doesn't know how to shut up. So I can type 3 times and he'll respond once a day, Monday through Friday. And so it's like you like, okay, this is where I'm at. What do I do now? And then you wait a day. And then you're like, oh, you respond like, wait, but what do you mean by this? And then you wait a day. So, you've got some, it takes some time there. But no, it's been good, but that's why it's taking so long, and it's why I haven't been uploading. I actually plan to upload way more and way better content for you guys, but I'm learning. Like, I feel like I had to start from scratch because what I've been doing is just not working. People don't like it that much. So yeah, Tuna's video is going, the video with Tuna, the big painting and the cuttlefish, that one's going in the direction I want to go, but hopefully better. So there's the very long explanation on why the dragon tank has not happened yet. And what's kind of cool is I got a device, it's a little meter where I can tell what the UV index is of his light, so I had to reposition them. And I'm messing with that, so I'm perfecting a few things that I'll be able to include that in the video now, so that's kind of cool. I'll also be able to give you like 3 months after the build, how is it held up? How have the plants held up? Things I would do differently, I can include a lot more. So, I mean, it's not all bad that it's taking me 8 years to finish. Let's see. Eddie said, do you use fixative, please? Okay, we answered that already. Rose said, I miss your 2-toned hair from years ago. It was so artistic and flattering. Black and blonde, was it? Yep, it was. Would I consider it again? Heck no. I am too lazy for that. So the front part that I bleached, that was done 1 week. And then the black part I had to do because my blonde, the blonde roots showing through black, it looks like you're balding. It's not like if you have dark hair and you dye it lighter, your roots just look like roots. You don't look bald. If you have light hair and you dye it darker, you look like you're bald. It was so much work to upkeep to keep it to the standard because I hated when my roots showed. So once a week, I spent several hours touching up and I did it myself. It took so long to get it to grow out and to get my hair, I had to use a color remover. So the dye I used didn't damage my hair at all. Even the bleach didn't because my hair is so light, it didn't take much to lift. But the color remover to get rid of the black, that fried the crap out of my hair. Like it was like elastic when it was wet. My hair it was horrible. So, yeah, I don't see myself doing that. I do kind of want to do the tips. I've thought about doing just the tips all the way, like, so it just would grow out and you would cut it off with like black or a fun color. But right now it seems like most of the people doing fun colors behave in very childish, we'll say, ways. I don't know. There's almost like a stigma that goes with, before it used to be punk if you had cool hair. And now when you do fun colors and stuff, it's like, I don't know, there's a stigma that goes with it that is not the stigma I want on myself. It's definitely different. But I have thought about having it professionally done, but then I'm like, I don't have any money. How am I going to afford to I can't do that myself. So I would have to have someone else do it. And I have the person I would do, like the person who cuts my hair does great dye jobs, but and the tips, like I said, I could just cut it out when I didn't want it anymore. But yeah, I'm not yet. Eddie said, you couldn't say yes or no. I don't know what that question was for, but no, that is never my answer. My answer is always going to be about an hour of rambling, whatever it was that was to do with. Let's see. Sheila said, can you use the oil pastels on Frederick's watercolor canvas board, or is the paper better? You could. I wouldn't, because of the way that it's framed. Although you'd still put that behind glass. You could still matte that. You could still put it behind, matting would be weird. I would rather do it on paper because the matte is gonna lift it a little bit. You get a little bit of a gap there. And so when you put the glass on, the glass isn't actually touching the artwork. Because the oil pastel, even when I put a fixative over it, it's never 100% dry. Mostly. It actually is pretty cool the way that the fixative from Senlier makes. I love it. But I don't want it touching the glass because it's gonna kind of stick to it. It kind of like over time, that would be an issue. If I matte it, that creates a gap between the glass and the artwork, so it's not really sticking. I don't know how I would mat that. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm just not thinking of it off the top of my head. But also, I really like the paper because I like the smoothness of the paper and it makes it easier to blend things out. I think that the canvas would eat up the pastels so quick, and those pastels are freaking expensive. They're over $5 for one oil pastel stick. Yeah, I'm not going to use that on something that's going to eat it faster. So, oh, we have from KDW, we've got boys are going to see this. We've got a super chat. Like, yes, we want our due. Thank you so much for the super chat. And the boys get their treat. There you go. Look how gentle you are during super chat nights. Why don't you do that when we're out there getting treats? I do not understand, cow. Okay, go lay down. Thank you so much for the super chat. Lay down. Lay down. All the way. Slowest race dogs ever. Lay down, Gibson. Gibson. Oh my gosh. Okay. And where are we at? We still have like 15 minutes. If you guys have more art questions, let me know. KDW says, love your art, but love your personal style and personality. Thank you. Oh, that's very sweet. I'm just scrolling up to see if I've missed anything. Stop huffing at me, Gibson. He's laying there huffing. He thinks he's going to get something else. Why are you huffing at me? Stop it. Let's see. I'm just scrolling up to see if there were any other questions. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what you guys want to talk about for 15 minutes, or we can just stare at each other awkwardly. I mean, I guess that works too. God, I think I had stories to tell you guys, art-related stuff that I was thinking about this week, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. I need to start writing these down more. Art by MB said, this is the first time I'm using pan pastels and colored pencils. Definitely a learning curve over here. You know, I recently if you've not seen it, let me grab it. I did this pan pastel, what was it, last week, the week before, of a puffin. And this is over on Patreon. Eventually, we know how long it's taking me to get videos made for YouTube. But I'm going to show you, eventually for the YouTube as well. I want to show, I guess I can do it this way, how to get details. And it's not with color. I actually like this better. This is 100% all oil pastel, no colored pencil at all. So what happens with the colored pencil, it doesn't stick that well. It kind of more scrapes it up. And so I started thinking, well, what if I just use that technique with sculpting tools and kind of scraped up the details? So I don't know how much you can see in the feathers. If I get too close, it goes out of focus with this. The beak is way more red than what it's showing on the camera, but whatever. You can see the detailing in the feathers. That's all done by, I'm gonna go put this down so I don't mess it up because I haven't sprayed it with a fixative yet, but it's all done with scraping up and exposing the color underneath. So it's kind of like scratch board. Which is a different way to work, but I found it to be better because I didn't like how little of the colored pencil shows on top of the way that I'm layering the oil pastels. So this way, if you plan it right, you're able to get details. And again, that whole video is over on Patreon right now. So I show you all the tips and tricks I used. A lot of OMS, a lot of glazing. You can glaze with it with using OMS. Like, it was so cool to get that level of detail. And I liked it better. I've always used colored pencil, you know, or I had been using, I don't want to say always, because there were times where I just used that too without OMS. I've had a few different methods of working with that stuff, but you can get really good detail. And it was like tools like this. I don't know where my other ones are. You see it in the video. I used the slice tool for some of it. It was a little too scratchy, so it's a ceramic blade. I used that. It was mostly the sculpting type tools and just scraped away the details as long as you planned out what light color went underneath. The other thing that I was doing was taking OMS. I don't think it's over here anymore. I made myself a little palette, but I would scribble on a little palette with my oil pastel and take a brush with OMS and lift it, and then I could just paint with a liner brush some of those little details too. So there was another method to get detail that I liked way better than anything I've gotten with colored pencil. Now that's not to say I won't ever use colored pencil with oil pastels again, but these techniques where it was 100%, I mean, OMS was the only additional material used on top of the oil pastels. But yeah, I really like the results I got better with that, and I can see so much more potential just using those without colored pencil moving forward. Let's see. Beautiful. What fixative will you use on it? Thank you. I will use the one by Finalizing. They have a spray that really hardens the oil pastels very, very well. Now, not so much like if I take my fingernail and scrape across it, it would scrape into it. But if I lightly touch it, actually, I have one over here that I used it on. This was the one I used first. So this one, it's got the fixative on it, and it's not like, that color is not coming off on my hand. But if I took my nail and scraped it, I would have a line, like it would scrape into it. But the Finalizing fixative is amazing, kind of expensive. I want to say, what did I pay? I think I bought mine on Blick, and it was like 20 bucks, $25, something like that, I don't remember. But it was, yeah, and you may be able to find it on sale at other times, so I will need to keep an eye on it. But it really did make a big difference. It's not like, I can touch this without feeling like it's gonna get on my hands. If I touch that puffin because it's not been sealed, oh, it just white all over my hands just from barely touching it. It makes a big difference. So yeah, that is, I should probably auction that off one of these days. I should put that on my website. Or hang it on my wall because I kind of really like it. But this is one I used colored pencil for some of the detailing and for the moon. But it didn't stick that well. It's kind of a pain in the butt. The methods I used on the puffin, way easier. I wasn't initially going to teach those ones because I thought it would be hard. No, it's so much easier. It was so much easier. So let's see. Lynn said, I know you've drawn turtles, but have you ever done a sulcata tortoise? I have not, because I don't even know how to say that. So I don't think I have. Do I like oil pastels or soft pastels better? I don't like soft pastels at all. I like pan pastels. Soft pastels, the feel of them on my skin freaks me out. I have heebie-jeebies they are a beautiful medium. I can't use the sticks. I can't use the blocks, block things. Can't do any of it. I cannot. Nope. Those are, so yes, oil pastels. I love the look of soft pastels though. It's just my weirdness about the dryness of them. I can't handle it because I have issues. Do you use a little amount of pastel? I think I overdid it, and boy, am I struggling. Pastel or oil pastel? Were we still talking about oil pastels with yours? I use a fair amount. It depends. It depends on what I'm doing. You could certainly use so much that it's hard to work with. That puffin video really gives you all the techniques that I use. Like all my favorite techniques are in that video. So if you're on Patreon, check that out. Because it's hard to say, do I use a lot or a little? Because that's such a subjective term. I think I'm using a lot, but maybe it's a little compared to what you're using. I don't know. Starving Artist Collective said, movies and books time? Yeah, oh gosh, so The Fourth Wing, so good. Oh my gosh, I loved that book, and now I'm on to Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. There's definitely some adult scenes. There's some violence and stuff like that, so it's not for your kids. I'm a prude. I just skip over the adult scenes, but it's so good. And they're long. I'm almost done with the second book. It's so good. So that's what I've been listening to. Been reading a few really terrible Kindle Unlimiteds that I couldn't get very far. I am so sick of the trope of the woman who's like the heroine has to be taught everything. Like she's like the mentality of an 8-year-old. Like she doesn't understand anything. The man has to, and this isn't like a crazy feminist thing. This is just, people don't act like that. This isn't even how, it doesn't even make sense that the women are so helpless in everything. I love the idea of, the love story and she gets saved and I'm good with all that. Why does she have to be like a child? Why does her mental state have to be that of a child? It's disturbing. It's weird. I've just read a lot of books lately that have just lazy writing. Like one of them, this girl was kidnapped by Fae. She's been tortured for 8 years from the time she was kidnapped when she was 12. She's been tortured and kept in a tiny little cage for 8 years. They needed her blood for something or another. I'm not going to go into all the torture because it's bad. The way she's kept track of time, and she knows it's been 8 years, is she carved a mark for each year into her hip to keep track of the time. So the number 8 was so hard for you to keep track of, you needed to scar your body. The number 365, no freaking problem, because she would have had no way to keep track of the 365 days in each of those years. But the number 8 had to be scarred so she could keep track. Yeah, because 8's way harder than 365. Makes sense. That doesn't make sense. So I don't know. I hate when authors are like, they're just lazy. That's just lazy writing. And then day 2, she gets kidnapped by different captors. And day 2, she's crushing on them. Girl's been 8 years of torture. She would not be in a state of falling in love on the second day of her new captors. Like, Stockholm Syndrome much? It was so bad. I got like 25% and oh, that got a review from me. But yeah, so that was terrible. I'm reading another one that's not great, but yeah, Fourth Wing and Iron, what did I say it was? Iron Flame. Oh my God, I'm loving those ones. Dragon books, I like dragons, so hence dragon. But yeah, Dolphin Soul said, how do you know how much pan pastel and pencil you use until you reach the point of no return to fix it? I'll be going great, and then the paper just is done. I don't know if there's not really a way to answer that. I don't use that much of the pan pastels. I put on enough to where it's the color I want it to be. Like, I'm not spending that much time layer on top of layer on top of layer. I mean, if you saw on that one, I had the layer, so maybe what, 2 layers to get my background with the teal, then a layer with the peach, and then the little circle. So not much more than 1.5 layers. Like, it's not, I didn't put a lot of pastel on that, of the pan pastel. It's just enough to get a base layer, and then I depend on the colored pencils for everything else. But there's not really a good way for me to answer how I know. I just put on enough pan pastels to where I've got a solid base layer, if that makes sense. I hope that helps. Flight of the Moon said, quick question. You talk about how you approach the daily sketch post. What? You mean for Patreon? So for I think that's what you're talking about. So for Patreon, one of the things that we have is a list of 30, however many days are in the month, different sketch prompts. And we've got a post, you can post them over in our Discord if you want to share what you've been sketching. And you can spend 5 minutes if you want on those. You can spend 2 hours if you want on those. All I care about is that you're drawing. If you want to do a quick sketch just to get, creative muscles working and ready to work on a bigger project, go for it. If you want to spend 2 hours because you like the idea, you can go for that too. So I'm not sure what you mean about how I approach it. I mean, I don't sketch them myself because I don't have time. I'm working on the Patreon lessons, so I'm not personally doing them, but they look fun. I'm kind of jealous. I kind of want time to play with some of them. You can tell I'm getting tired because I'm like, I'm not sure how to answer. I don't think I'm reading it right is probably what's happening. Let's see. Art by MD said, I'm trying your methods using pan pastels. Okay, wait, was there a different question that went to? Do you use a little amount? Oh, okay, okay. So we're back to the goldfish one. I think I answered that with Dolphin Soul. It's not a ton. It's just enough to make it opaque enough that I've got a good solid base layer. Like, I'm not fighting against the gray of the paper when I go on top of the colored pencil. So yeah, not a lot of layers there. Scroll down. Lynn said, sulcata tortoise are our 3rd biggest species in the world. Gentle giants. Mine is called Hugo. Oh, that's awesome. I did paint one tortoise. It was an older one, but I don't know what kind he was. I took the photo at the zoo. He was big. But it was one from a zoo photo. So it was one of our Patreon reference photos from forever ago. But I did paint a surreal one out of him. So maybe, because I'm not sure what kind of turtle that was, or tortoise. I love turtles, tortoise, whatever, all of them. They're awesome. I'm I'm scrolling down. I just read randomly, Nick says, if there's no snow on the ground, I'm barefoot. Even if there's snow on the ground, I've still usually got flip-flops on. I don't leave the house, so I'm just going out in the backyard, and I will freeze my toes off to go throw bird food or seed in the bird feeder in flip-flops because I'm a genius. Just scrolling down. Yeah, and we'll do a quick plug for that. So talking about Patreon and the lessons over there, I've got over 400 in multiple mediums. We have oil pastel, we have pan pastel, colored pencil with powder blender, colored pencil with pan pastel. Actually, all the pan pastels have colored pencil mixed in it. We've got acrylics, we've got oil paintings, charcoal, graphite, Inktense. I don't even remember what else is over there. Is that it? Watercolor. So watercolor is typically going to be with colored pencil in combination. We've got tons of over 400 lessons immediately when you sign up. There it is as low as $6 a month, and that gets you access to all of those lessons immediately. I'm currently working on the lesson for my big, the black and white whale. So this guy here, we'll grab him again. Oh wait, well, I can actually pull him over here so you can see how big it is. Guy, I'm finishing up right now it's kind of huge. Like there's my shoulders, there's my like shins, so it's big. It's the 24 by 36, but I'm working right now on the landscape portion of this. So this is a two-part because I know not everybody likes surrealism. So I'm doing just, there's the road going up. I'm doing just the landscape lesson right now. I've got like another hour to edit. It's a long one. The whole thing is real time because I haven't done a landscape in a long time. A lot of people are going to want that lesson. So I wanted the whole thing in real time. I didn't speed any of it up, which means it's taking me forever to edit. But that lesson is going to be up in a day or two, probably. I should finish that. Yeah, just said, wow, that's way bigger than I thought it was. Yeah, it's a big one. Not bad. I got that done in 2 days. Like really 1.5 days, less than that. Like yeah, sometimes you get an idea and you're excited, and it was actually a challenge for me. I was like, let's see if I can get this done in time for the Patreon video. That gives me 1.5 days to finish it. Let's go. And yeah, so I recorded like talking about that too. So eventually I'll have that video for YouTube eventually. But anyway, point is that lesson in acrylics, you can apply what I'm teaching in that to oils. You could apply it to charcoal, to graphite. Like a lot of that can be applied to other mediums, but the techniques, the actual brush strokes and stuff, that would be the same in oils is what I'm doing in acrylics. And I explain that as I'm going with, this is where you would let it dry or whatever. So, that lesson, just the landscape portion, is going to be this week. Next week will be just the humpback whale. Because again, I know every time I do stuff that's surreal, I always have people complain, I'm not interested in surrealism. First, you're wrong, because surrealism is awesome. But also I get it. So I want to make, I thought it'd be fun if I start doing more surrealism, that the landscape portion is a standalone painting. You can just do that, because when it was that way, a lot of people thought it was done when I had just the landscape portion. And I was even tempted, like, ooh, am I going to mess this up? I don't want to mess this up. But my vision for it was always with that humpback. So there we go. That one is acrylic, Nadine. And yeah, it's a big one. It's going to, that one I need to get it varnished. I need to get a better photograph so I can do prints. And then that one's actually for me. My walls in my room are dark teal, like dark teal. Actually very similar to the background. Can you see on here? I'm not sure if you can see. No, you can't. But the dark teal I have behind my easel is pretty much the same color. So I thought a black, like if I started replacing everything with black and white, or black and white with a little bit of color, would look really cool. So that is my goal. So you're going to see a few more pieces that are black and white, or black and white with like a bit of pink or peach in it to go with my room. Because pink, I really love home decor, but I'm also really broke right now. And so if I want to get new stuff for my house, I just need to paint it for myself. So it's not all bad because I can do that. But yeah, it's kind of fun. So I'm personally really enjoying that. Also, insurance. Oh my God, this is why I'm broke right now. My homeowner's insurance just tripled. It went up randomly. Here, we want you paying an extra $300 a month. And I found out that come April, my car insurance is also going to go up like $200. So here, $500 extra a month. How do people budget? How are people going to do this? I can do it because we bought it, I can make it work. But not everybody can. And how are people going to, with these rates going the way they are? Oh my God, stress is just, whew, there is stress. So yeah, point is I have to be much, much more cautious on my spending. That's why I keep complaining oh, my money, my this and that. It's the homeowner's insurance. Just I've never even made a claim. And it's yeah, by the way, We decided. So yeah, that's fun. But I still love home decor stuff. So I'm like, screw it. I'll just keep making paintings for myself and making those areas like, that's what really got me into, story time. When I first got into painting as a kid, I always drew. That was just something I enjoyed doing. But the first time that I started taking it serious, like, hey, I want to do more than color in a coloring book. I want stuff on my walls. Growing up, we grew up poor. I didn't have all the posters my friends had. They had I remember one of my friends had dolphins on her walls and tigers and stuff, and I was so jealous. And I wanted that stuff too. I hated my bare walls. Now, I had walls, so that's something to be grateful for. I had food, so I don't want to make it sound like I was suffering or anything, But we didn't have the money for posters. That was just out of the question. But my mom always made sure I had drawing paper or paper bags. For grocery store bags, I would draw on those. Construction paper. There was always something that I could do something artsy with. And I started drawing. My big thing were parrots. I had this Parrots of the World book. I think it was parrots mainly from Australia, like that area. And I would draw cockatoos. And I started working on that, and I would put them all over my walls. So it's like I'm making my own posters then. And I was probably, 12 at the time, 13, right around there. So right around the time that typically kids get to where they can start drawing things more realistically, that's when something flips in your brain and it's like, oh, that's how you make it look more real. And I mean, I'd always drawn, but that was really my, what made a difference in that. I wanted stuff on my walls, and I couldn't afford to go buy posters. You know what? I'm so grateful for that too, because it motivated me. I was in a position where it was like, I want something, I can't have it, but I could make it. And it was great. But anyway, that is kind of what I'm doing now. I'm like, you know what? I have to watch my budget, and that's not like I'm gonna lose my house or anything, but an extra $500 a month is scary. So if I want to upgrade stuff in my house right now, I'm going to do that with making myself stuff like the black and white painting that will make my room look fancier. So yeah, anyway, that is, yeah, Blue said, oh my God, triple, did they give you any reason? Nope. I just went to pay my house payment on the 1st, and it was $300 more than usual because of homeowner. And my property taxes went down because we just passed a law, something got passed in Texas where we've got a bigger homeowner's exemption. It went from like a $40,000 to $100,000 was our homeowner's exemption. So my taxes went down, yet my house payment is $300 more because of homeowners. And I know that we were already told, everyone's talking about that in this area, that car insurance is going to skyrocket too. I checked with State Farm. State Farm, their homeowner's insurance is more than what I'm paying with Allstate. I'm currently with Allstate. Would be even more. But my car insurance would go from $143 a month to $307. And they didn't see why that would be a problem. I'm sorry, what? I don't drive. Matt has a perfect record. Like, Matt doesn't have any tickets or anything. Why? What? What? Like, that's as much as the car payment itself. Like, that's insane to me. So yeah, we're just going, I'm pricing around. Farmers is looking good. I would save like $30 a month if I switched to Farmers, but whatever. They're looking the top. I'm checking with Progressive, and I'm checking with, who's the other one? Progressive, there's another one that I needed to check. Liberty Mutual, I think, was one. But the Liberty Mutual was insane with the car insurance too. They were $271 it would go up to. So I don't even know I don't know. But it's kind of scary because it's also, how do you know which insurance company is good enough to trust if you actually needed something? I don't know. I don't know if it matters. But Geico, a bunch of people are saying, I haven't checked with them. That actually is one I have not looked into. So anyway, yeah, that is why you keep hearing me make comments about I'm broke. That's why I'm broke, because suddenly $300 on homeowner's insurance, and I know that the car insurance is about to go up by $200. So if that's what's average. So yeah, it's insane. Yeah, Nick said, I've always had State Farm and they've always been very reasonable. Yeah, not anymore. State Farm would have been my first choice because I used to have State Farm before I switched. I had a neighbor that had Allstate, and she worked for them. She was an agent. And so she's like, no, we'll get you a better deal. And it really wasn't, but it was like, whatever, I went through the effort. I'll go ahead and switch. No, Allstate has been the worst insurance company because we have the roadside assistance. I'm just rambling now and I apologize, but they have the roadside assistance. But when we needed them, oh my God, the drama. Matt got hung up on twice. One woman had a bad attitude, and he's like, she kept yelling, and what is your name, sir? And he had answered her, and she couldn't understand, what is your name? And he's like, what's your name? She hung up on him. There was another one who her accent was too strong, and so he couldn't understand anything she was saying. And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't understand you. She hung up on him. And I mean, we're like, okay, wow, they have the worst call center. They're just, and then when his car was totaled, not his fault at all, but Allstate was like the mediator between him and the insurance company that actually had to pay to fix it. He got hit by a big rig thing. So, big rig, big work truck thing. I don't know, whatever it was. 18-wheeler, is that what? Whatever. It was completely other things' fault, so it doesn't like go on Matt's record, but Allstate was like the middleman. Oh, they were a nightmare. I'm like, why are you? So Allstate's terrible, no matter what. I'm switching from them. But yeah, State Farm was the first I checked, and they're just completely out of my budget. Like I would be paying so much more than what I'm currently paying. I would be paying $500 more. So, well, no, it would be $200 more for the car insurance, almost $200, and then an additional $100 from the fact that my rates just went up by $300. So that would be $400, and then the other two, so $400, $500, $600 more than what I was paying just a month ago if I went to Allstate or State Farm. So yeah, that is just, yeah, that's Art by MB said, that's what life is. Just when you're okay financially, then boom, you need a crown because of a broken tooth or something breaks. Exactly. It's just, so, and I haven't been putting enough into my savings for emergencies, and that's stressful. And it's just because it's been going towards, inflation is just out of control. We're all in the same boat. So I know I'm not alone. I know you guys are dealing with stuff too. So yeah, it's just definitely stressful. But that is my random rambling. And yeah, that is okay. We are overdue on the live stream. Thank you guys so much. Also, if you're watching, you can leave in the comments too, your recommendations or people to stay away from when it comes to insurance. If you know something I don't know and you got this far, leave comments, because I definitely, yeah, everyone's saying State Farm. Yeah, State Farm was great, but not for $307 a month on a car insurance. And my homeowner's insurance would be, what was the premium? Oh God, what did they say it was? I think it was $3,600 and something would be my premium for homeowners, and then the payment on car was $307 a month. So, and they couldn't go lower than that. And I had to be on the insurance because Matt's married to me. I don't drive. I don't even have a driver's license. I have never driven that. Fun times. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Congratulations to who won the Goldfish. I can't tell right now, but thank you so much, everyone. And let me know. Also, leave in the comments if there is a subject matter you want me to do in one of these live streams. Let me know, because I definitely take your suggestions for those, as long as it's something I can get done in like an hour, hour and a half. But yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you next week. I'm hitting wrong buttons.